Hello and welcome back to David Pattison's Accused Friends. As always, we're happy to provide you with meaningful information, useful data, but we want to hear from you, so please make sure you comment down below if you have any questions and hit that subscribe button. With me, I have David. David, hello and thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, appreciate it.
Right, so today we're going to talk about Alison Saunders being censored from Crony Capitalism. Now that's a term I haven't come across, so could you please explain me what is Crony Capitalism?
Well, I think the British people know that there's whenever there's any corruption going on, Alison Saunders is going to be pretty close to the action. This has been an article that actually came out about 2 months ago, and people have been saying to me, why don't you talk about this? I've been so busy dealing with Alison Saunders' criminal behaviour while in government, I just haven't gotten around to dealing with her criminal behaviour outside of government. But I'm happy to talk about it here. Crony capitalism is a kind of an American expression that's used a lot there and was used a lot in Washington when I lived there. But capitalism itself is about capital going to the goods and services in the economy that's the highest value. It's the best quality and the lowest cost. Now, crony capitalism is where capital is trying to go to those areas, but friends of the decision makers get in the way. And this is particularly relevant to government. When government is dishing out government contracts, if they're representing British taxpayers honestly, they should be giving it to the service providers that are providing the highest value for that taxpayer money. But what they often do is give it to their friends, people that look favourably upon the political party in office, or just people they know or they've worked with before. So individuals have an incentive to build relationships with decision makers in government and get deals, get government contracts for them and their companies, and it sort of defrauds British taxpayers but rewards often former government officials who work in government and then come out of government and profit from their previous role once they get into the private sector.
Now, do you think it is possible not to take advantage of the power and your status?
Well, I see a lot of politicians, they just can't do it, they can't resist. What happens a lot of times is if you think about a politician, they're on a term, let's say they're term limited, they know they're going to step down from their position next year or whatever it is, 2 years from now. And so what they start to do is instead of representing the British people in their government role, they start to think about, okay, well, when I leave government, what am I going to do? I want to make a lot of money. So they start making decisions, gearing favours, crony capitalism, towards certain people who will then reward them financially when they leave government. Yeah, and that's exactly what Alison Saunders has been doing.
I know that Alison Saunders has been accused of crony capitalism. Can you develop more on this idea?
Well, she was head of Crown Prosecution, as you know, and as I've talked about a lot, and she knew she was going to be leaving her job in October of last year because she'd done such a horrific job. She was fired from her position but allowed to stay to the end of her contract. So she was essentially terminated in April of last year, about 12 months ago, but was given this sort of slow departure so that the organisation could regroup. And so she was thinking all through that time, okay, well, what am I going to do when I leave government? And she's now working for this big law firm, Linklaters, under the proviso that she would be able to use her relationships inside CPS to profit the company when she joined them, left government, joined them. So she was going to be financially remunerated for her access back into CPS. And of course, this is not allowed. You can't do, these cash for access deals because it's fraudulent. It's taxpayers, and instead of being rewarded with, law firms that are the best value to the taxpayer, we have to go to Alison Saunders' law firm because she has the power over the subordinates that she used to have authority over in her job. So there's rules and laws that prevent this sort of stuff. Alison Saunders knew all of those rules, but she's tried to circumvent them anyway. So not only is she breaking rules when she's head of CPS, she's now breaking rules when she's working in the law firm Linklaters, where she's working now. And it's been rumbled by the press, and I give press credit for this, And she's been told that her firm can no longer do work on directly with CPS, with Alison Saunders, because of crony capitalism rules preventing it.
All right, and what exactly is happening?
Well, what's happening is they gave her a big payday, like £1 million contract, to come and work for the law firm on the understanding that she would be able to use her power within CPS to gain favours and contracts into the law firm. Now that that's been prevented, she's kind of a lame duck manager or partner in the firm. She's sitting there, but her whole job or expectation is now no longer going to be permitted. Now there is a time limit on these things in, I believe it's 2 years. So in 2 years' time, she will be able to start working with it with CPS. But between now and then, I guess she's probably been there about 6 months now. So about another 18 months, she'll be sort of sitting twiddling her thumbs, trying to defend herself from the citizens' prosecution. And then assuming she's not been jailed by that time, she will start to do deals with CPS. But of course, more time has elapsed by then. So people that used to live in fear of her in CPS, thinking, is she going to come up with a court case against me next? That sort of reign of terror has been mitigated somewhat just through time. Now, I think these crony capitalist restrictions should be 5 years minimum, but it seems in London it's 2 years. I think there's different bands for different people. Like if you're the Prime Minister, it's sort of one level, or if you're just like a junior flunky, it's a sort of a lower level. And Alison Saunders is somewhere in the upper echelons. I don't know how high up. But I think these sort of restrictions are really important, but they're rarely enforced by government because the enforcers want the same perks when they get out of, if and when they get out of government. You know.
So would you say that crony capitalism essentially leads to a higher degree of inequality and corruption?
This is corruption, is what it is. It's cash for access. It's government policy for our friends. Rather than policy for the people that elected the government official in the first place, or elected the party that's currently in government. That's
how can exactly one know where is the line, where to stop in creating friendship with people in
it's a grey area. It's
status?
A grey area. Yeah, I think we should have tougher or more stringent committees that look at this stuff. I've been thinking through our interviews about, these false accusation cases, and they have, I'm changing the topic slightly, but I'll carry on. They have what's called a public interest test. So say someone makes an accusation against someone, it's an individual between the police and CPS makes a decision. Is this a case that's in the public interest that we need to prosecute it and pursue it? And the answer is almost always yes, because that public interest test person is a member of the government. So it's like, you making a decision on whether, you want someone to pay you £1 million to, do a job for them, way above when the job's normally worth £1,000. It's like a no-brainer. So what this public interest test person needs to be is a taxpayer representative, a non-government person making an impartial decision. And it's the same on the crony capitalism. We should have committees, not in government adjudicating this, but outside of government, remote from government, impartial to whether we want taxpayer money and government contracts going to an organisation just because they hired the former Prime Minister to be on their board of directors, or just because they hired the former Chief of Police to be on their board of directors. So these, I think there's not enough oversight from non-government people on government work. It's always people within government refereeing government roles, but of course they're all the same team.
Right, so more power to the people.
More power to the people, yeah. Less power to have government officials like Alison Saunders exploiting their power to punish the people, to punish law-abiding citizens, citizens that are just minding their own business, living their lives, and they're exploited for cash, not their cash, but taxpayer cash, which is a sort of like a runaway train of debt-based money. Yeah.
Dear friends, don't forget to comment and subscribe because we want to hear from you. David, thank you for your time and your insights.